Going to college was important to me because I come from a generation of people who have never graduated high school, and so being the first one to graduate high school and attend college was me breaking generational curses. But it also meant exposure to a different world, exposure to different cultures, and getting to have a better life.
When I was young in high school and junior high, my mother really stressed the importance of education and not only going to school but doing well in school, and so she really pressed upon me and my sister to go to college, and that we were bright enough and good enough to go to college. So that was something that my parents really pushed on us. And also I knew if I wanted to get a career, a high-paying job, college was the route that I should go.
Well, the decision to go to college was something that I had made early on in my life. I did not have an easy home life, and I watched my parents as well as my grandparents struggle with poverty. My father was in prison. My mother had passed away. My grandmother raised us and had been diagnosed with cancer, and that was terminal. So I was left with the responsibility of raising my 14-year-old sister. So I knew that getting an education was the way that we were going to be able to survive, as well as my future family and my future self was going to be able to succeed.
I was faced with imposter syndrome my first semester, where I felt like I was just lucky to be there, and kind of devaluing all the hard work that I had previously done. And so sometimes that takes away from your experience.
So I had to figure out how to work, go to school, and raise a 14-year-old when I had just only become 17. So navigating college Google was not a thing when I began. So navigating college was more so of just being able to ask people questions that I really didn't know how to begin to ask or what to ask, and then kind of just figuring it out as I went.
Not knowing about deadlines, not knowing about the admissions process. I had an older sister who went to school before me, went to college before me, and she was helped, but my folks wasn't really able to help me much as far as knowing what to do, and they would explain some things to me, but I didn't have a complete picture of the process. And so the biggest barrier prior to getting to school was just not knowing how the financial aid process worked, whereas my dad would tell me that, but I really didn't comprehend or understand exactly what all those things meant. So just the unknown was the biggest barrier that I had to go through, because I just didn't know what to expect, how to go about it. Again, my sister was there to help me, but I wasn't sure. I was unsure of how the process worked.
I felt like it was less pressure and more of a responsibility. So self-pressure was something that really I put on myself. I knew that if it was only really up to me, if we were going to succeed, I was going to be the beginning of that progress. So I did put a lot of pressure on myself. If it wasn't for that self-pressure, though, I didn't really have anyone holding me accountable to continue to go to school to finish my education. I more so had someone holding me accountable to go to my job, my employment of unskilled labor. So there is that pressure to make sure that you don't get stuck in that position that you're not meaning to be in, and to finish your education despite being exhausted and overworked and overwhelmed.
There was pressure of succeeding, whereas my father and my mother poured so much into me to make it an opportunity to go to school. They took out a loan for me to get a car. They did a lot financially of burdens in order for me to go to school. So there was pressure for me to be successful and to do well at school.
I did feel pressure going to college. I was the first one to graduate from even high school in my family, and so although my support system was huge at home, they didn't know necessarily the tools, or they didn't have the guidance to walk me through what college meant, because I was the first one to attempt college in my household. Being able to just create an atmosphere and provide myself with the resources and finding ways where I didn't feel like I was letting them down was definitely one of the challenges that I faced in terms of pressure.
Be more cognizant of loans and scholarships, whereas I could have gotten more free money regarding scholarships and those opportunities than what I did in school, whereas I ended up taking out a lot of loans and it took me a very long time to pay them back. But yet and still, I would went back and told myself to take out more scholarship opportunities, explored more scholarship opportunities that were available to me, and not to indulge in so much in student loans.
I would give myself grace. There are always going to be obstacles that stand in your way, and there's always going to be things that seem more important or more immediate, such as work, or you're tired, or you're stressed, or you have a question that you need to ask and you just don't seem, you're not confident in asking it. You're scared to approach someone and just ask for help or let go of your pride. So giving yourself grace, giving myself grace, my younger self grace and compassion to know that even though it took me longer than it's supposed to, which there is no timeline for anyone, that it's okay because I still succeeded.
It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not know everything right off the bat. So allowing others to help you when you need help. And I would also tell myself that it is okay to feel like this is something new. You are breaking generational curses. So it's okay to feel like you don't have control of everything. That's something I would tell my first day of college self.